if you're a leader, if you're a manager, if you have a team, I'll be very curious to know what's your take on the future of leadership and communication in this, increasingly virtual world. I mean, how do you stay in touch with your people, right? I share in another video that one way that companies stayed in touch with their people and had, you know, the company culture, if you like, and then all the internal communication, many times took place on the walls of the office, right? We had maybe values or pictures or awards sometimes that were displayed on walls, right? So even if we didn't really consciously stop and look at all of those things, right? I remember going into the office and every morning I passed by this, glass cabinet where all the trophies that our engineering teams have won over the years were displayed, right? So unconsciously, I was kind of, I was programmed, if you like, with seeing the value in our engineering teams and the quality of work we do because of all of those awards, right? So it's like, any sport team, right? Like walking towards their lockers room and looking at all the trophies they won, right? That makes them feel better, right? I mean, they feel the value. There is a weight in you being part of that team and the company, right? But how do you do that in today's world, right? How do you communicate that to your team? How do you, because this might be a joke, but what do you do? Do you kind of frame those awards and send everyone one of those home? Like, what do you do? People don't see the things that they used to see before. So I really believe, there is a discussion to be had here around internal communication in today's world, right? One area that I believe many leaders should do more of and should be better at is communicating on social media channels. Like, you could use podcasting. As a leader, I believe you should use podcasting to stay in touch with your people, right? I mean, instead of you writing long emails, many of your employees might be into podcasting. So why don't you just record the 5-10 minutes update every morning, every Monday morning, release that to your team, right? And that could be internally, but also externally. Think about how could you keep, maybe potential employees, potential candidates updated about what's going on, what's the value, what's the focus of the company, right? So it could be internally as well as externally. You could use social media. You could write on LinkedIn. You could write on Facebook. So many different communication ways that you could use to stay in touch with your team. So I'm really curious to learn about what you're doing right now. If you are a leader, if you have a team, if you work in a company, if you maybe are in an HR support department, and you work with your leaders, what kind of communication approach you have right now? How do you stay in touch with your teams, right, in this remote world? Because that's critical. That's critical for any company that wants to, to keep the culture and values of the company alive. You need to constantly communicate with your people, right? Because there's a saying, the eyes that we don't see, we forget. Like, if they don't hear this and they don't see the values or they don't see the behavior that you want them to see, they'll forget it. And so I think it's an important topic. And I'm going to share our take on engaging and motivating teams on an event. So it will be a live online seminar on 6 ways, or actually it's more of a 6-step framework that we use to engage and motivate teams, so everyone brings their best to the table. So if you're curious about that, there will be a link on this post. Click on that link and join me. I will look forward to see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.